Hi, welcome back to Talking Turning 65. When you're looking forward to turning 65 or you look back and you wish you were still 65, but one of the things that people start to really chew on as time goes on is what's going to happen if I have a healthcare situation come up and it just eats me of all my savings. And so there are things that if you are planning ahead, you could do. And we're here with Marcella from eLegacyLaw to do a very high-level overview of what a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust is. I have been a certified long-term care specialist for many years, but this legal tool is something fairly new to me as well. So let's learn it together. Marcella, tell us real high level, when is a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust appropriate? What kind of family or couple going to retirement should be looking at something like this?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark, for having me. A Medicaid Asset Protection Trust is one of my favorite estate planning tools. I am so passionate about this because it's intended for kind of the average retired American who finds themselves in a terrible position of having to essentially go bankrupt at the very end of their life in order to be able to pay for their increasing medical costs. This type of planning helps so many families be able to protect their assets so they still have some additional income to supplement their healthcare costs. And more importantly, many of these families, they want to leave something to their children. They don't want to leave them a pile of medical bills and have to bankrupt the entire estate. So that's exactly what a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, shortened, it's known as a MAPT. The idea behind this is rather than going on Medicaid and needing to qualify by only having one house, one car, and $2,000 destitute, this type of trust allows you to transfer some of your assets to this irrevocable trust that then protects those assets and still allows you to qualify for Medicaid. So there's some very straightforward rules with this. Basically, the sooner you plan for this, the better. If we can put this into the trust and we're able to go 5 years without needing to qualify for Medicaid's help, then you don't even need to have a conversation about what you transferred over here to this trust. And then you're able to get the Medicaid help that you need, paying for some of these very expensive long-term care bills, and still know that you have some assets over here that are protected. And one of the biggest concerns with Medicaid, it's not just about getting the monthly help with, an $8 or $9 or $10,000 a month long-term care cost. The other piece to this is even though you can own one home and qualify to be on Medicaid, what will happen is when you pass away, if you're receiving these benefits, Medicaid is going to keep track, dollar for dollar, everything that they spent on your care. And when you've passed away, they will place a lien against your home and recover those costs. It's called a Medicaid recovery. So by doing one of these trusts, it allows your home to be able to be protected from that recovery. And the idea is there that you're able to then leave that to your family, your children, your beneficiaries, and they can then, sell that asset and enjoy that inheritance rather than having that entire equity of that home go back to Medicaid to pay for your bills.
This is beautiful. So, Marcella, are you finding probably an uptick with everybody turning 65 last year in 2024? The most people turning 65 this year, we're almost that level. But I would suspect as people roll into retirement and they haven't protected themselves against this long chronic type illness, which can eat our savings away because Medicare does not take care of it, and they haven't done a long-term care plan, that a MAPT, MAPT, should be something to look at. Would you say, can you give us an idea of asset base if someone's got less than 500,000 or more than 500,000? What's kind of a rule of thumb?
Yeah, I mean, it can work for anyone. Our rule of thumb at our law office and part of our strategizing with clients is to run all the numbers and see how much can we set aside for you depending on when you need this care. So the ideal situation is you have 5 years to wait.
Yes.
There's also crisis planning where you need this type of help immediately. You need
Yes.
to go into long-term care next week.
Yeah.
Even in that case, we can still do some crisis planning and still have opportunities to save some of those assets. Ideally, we want to be able to save you at least $50,000 in order to make that planning worth it. And so that's kind of what we run through. But your net worth can really range, I would say, anywhere from, preserving just $50,000
Oh,
all the way up into 500, 600, even $1 million we've been able to set aside depending on the value of the home, because that's
right.
really one of the big factors is setting that house aside as a common asset that we protect.
Great. Yeah. So, and folks, so the message is this. If you do proactive planning, I'm all about proactive planning with my people. And so this is a 5-year, you're planning out 5 years. But if you're in a crisis mode, that's another option. That's where you've waited too long. In crisis mode, we can certainly talk with Marcella and the team to find out what options we might have in a crisis situation as well. So with that, look forward to chatting with you. There should be a link down below to find out how to find more and get that 30-minute free conversation with Marcella and the team at eLegacyLaw to find out what might be for you. And we'll see you there.